What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm going to talk about It Chapter 2 because it's spooky season. And we are welcoming ourselves to Derry this October. The Stephen King franchise is growing. So these films are directed by Andy Muschietti. I've seen both of them before, so this is me going back through them. I had seen It Chapter 1 twice, so my review of that, which is already up, that was my third time. This one I've only seen once. So actually, um, there were things in there that I didn't remember as well, and I'd kind of forgotten, so there was a little bit more of an exploratory process with It Chapter 2. I think Chapter 1 is better, so I'm just going to say that right off the bat, that I think It Chapter 1, there's something about the kids going after Pennywise that actually just works better. But here we've got a solid cast: Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy as Isaiah Mustafa, Bill Hader, and of course Bill Skarsgård returns. Some other people like James Ranson. They also bring back all the kids for like flashback sequences. So yeah, it's the second half of the book. It's they grow up and they made a pact. The Losers Club made a pact to come back 28 years later. It can't be. Is it 28? I should have remembered. But now I want to say 28 years later because I've been reviewing that franchise also for spooky season. So I'm just like, it's got to be 28 years. Everything is 28 years. It's just in the horror genre. So I'm stuck on 28 now. But they come back as adults and things have changed. There are some kids here. There's sort of, they have their own little like Georgie sequence, but with a new girl, Virginia, played by Ryan Kiera Armstrong, before she ended up in Firestarter. And that whole thing happened with the Razzie Awards. And she's gone on to be in like other things since then. And I'm glad that she continues to have a career because she is actually a good actress and she was good in Firestarter and was not the problem with that movie, and the Razzies off. So yeah, this has moments, it has beats, it explores the characters. Some of it gets a little weird. I had a lot of questions. So it was a little bit like, so the first film was obviously like Pennywise was going after kids. Part of what made it so scary was seeing that the adults were also like, a lot of these people had horrible adults in their life. You had the creepy sort of rapey dad that the girl had to put up with. You had even Henry's dad was a douche. Like everybody just sort of had parents. The gaslighting mother, that was trying to make her kid believe that he was allergic to everything and giving him fake pills. So yeah, it explored monsters, both obvious and not. This film can't do that because the adults are the kids. So it doesn't really do that as well, which is one of the things that kind of makes it a little bit harder. Is we've kind of moved away and stepped away from that. Although there is the scene which they used in the trailer, the Jessica Chastain scene where she goes and visits the old lady. I guess that's a scene, a choice. But there are a lot of scenes like that where Pennywise continues to appear, but he's appearing to these adults. And so it's almost like once you've experienced Pennywise, that you're cursed and he can follow you as long as you're within the proximity of Derry. Because it's not like he's haunting the adults of Derry. That's not something that we see consistently. There are actually plenty of scenes where one of our characters is being haunted and like someone else comes in the room who's not touched, and like the whatever it is just goes away. So the fear, the nightmare, of Pennywise ends up fading. So I guess the argument is that Pennywise is fueled by fear, and that's what he's eating is fear, except for to some extent. Sure. But if you look at like how Andy Muschietti handles the scene with Virginia, which I feel like I could spoil this. First of all, there's a book that's been out forever, and there was an adaptation with Tim Curry, although I don't know that this was exactly the same way they had to handle it in the movie. And the Tim Curry version, which was made for TV, so I'm going to go probably not. Um, and there's, so she's not scared of him, and he kind of bites her face off, and that's it. Unlike with Georgie, who loses an arm, which creates the fear. He doesn't really create the fear in her first. So if he's feeding off of fear, if he needs fear, he didn't get it because that would have instantly killed her. So I don't know that worked. So it's choices. And if it's because they kind of feel like at the end when they're trying to beat Pennywise, it's a lot of this like taking the fear away and being like, I'm not afraid of you. You're just some stupid clown. You're just a dumb clown. It's like that kind of thing. It's defeating him by not being afraid of him was what weakens him. Otherwise, he just continues to feed off of fear. So, but if you straight up just kill somebody right away, then you're not feeding off of the fear. The person didn't have an opportunity to develop fear. So there's that as well. Very interesting sequences. The performances here, I liked. I think Bill Hader and Isaiah Mustafa the most. I thought they stood out. I feel like I'm supposed to like James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain, but I've always liked Bill Hader doing dramatic work. I think he finds a lot of humanity. A lot of times these comedic actors, we really undercut them when it comes to their dramatic work, but they're very good at what they do, and they find a lot of the pain in these characters. Think about Bill Hader and the Skeleton Twins. Or if you look at something like Steve Carell in Little Miss Sunshine, there are these characters that have something that that they're trying to hide from the rest of the world. They're not doing a great job of it, and I think that's kind of what Hader has here as the film pushes into it a little bit more. And Isaiah Mustafa, I mean, coming a long way from being the Old Spice guy, it's one of the best roles he's been given in his career. So we totally flipped the Old Spice guy into like a legitimate film career. I think he's great here. Of course, Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is terrifying. So just another great role for him to be in. And yeah, I do like Jessica Chastain and James McAvoy. I think they're good, but I think that's a little bit more predictable. Although McAvoy feels like an actor of the three men I just mentioned. There are some other men here like James Ranson and some of the other guys that play the other boys. But of the three more notable lead actors, he feels like the one that's been closer to an Oscar nomination and just hasn't gotten it, and perhaps will one day. I think probably the greatest argument would have been for Last King of Scotland, that he could have come along much the same way Ethan Hawke did for Training Day. You rise so high off of that performance that he could have gotten like a supporting actor bid for Last King of Scotland. But yeah, if you are interested in finishing it, you should, because it's just kind of weird. Although I will admit that chapter 1 just kind of works by itself. You don't really need to watch part 2. But if you want to, you can. I do. I like chapter 2. But I think there's a lot of strength in chapter 1 and the beginning, all the stuff with Georgie fantastic. Actually, even the score, I feel like, is highlighted better in chapter one. Andy Muschietti just had a hard time topping himself. He directed such an excellent adaptation right out of the gate that to maintain that or top it was really hard. And having to swap out the kid actors, which is what I think people resonated with, and one of the reasons we watch like things like Stranger Things. I think that just kind of hampered the movie a little bit. So, but I do like this. It's a good movie. It's not a bad movie. I don't want to make it sound like don't watch it. It has a lot of creepy scenes, a lot of gory things, and a lot of bits, a lot of good callbacks. A lot of freaky shit happens in this movie. It's very, and it's long as shit. It's almost like 3 hours. it's it's like 240 something. So I'm gonna give it a I'm gonna give it a 7.7 out of 10, and there you go. So it chapter 2, fresh. Put it in your spooky season. Make sure you catch up before Welcome to Derry. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the other side.